My name is Ulrika Åkesson, working as a team leader for a regional team that was set up 3 years ago to support our embassies in sub-Saharan Africa to strengthen the work on environment and climate, carbon of course included. And we are also the team responsible for the support to the agroforestry for the expert desk. But I would like to start with some words on how carbon markets relate to SIDA's work and mandate. As you know, there is a big interest in SIDA's partner countries for how carbon markets can be used to attract additional finance, not the least from governments, but also from partners and organizations interested to develop projects. And working with carbon markets goes in line with priorities of the Swedish government, the reform agenda, and goals in SIDA's operational strategy for 2024 to 2026. In particular, carbon markets connect to the goal for SIDA to work with increased and more effective climate aid. And for example, SIDA's support to climate finance contributes to the 3 main goals of the Paris Agreement. The first one on strategic investments in emissions reductions, and the second, climate change adaptation, and thirdly, financial flows. And one important thing to mention is that the Swedish government assigns mandates for how Sweden as a country engages in carbon trading with other countries. You might know that the Swedish Energy Agency has a formal mandate to engage in trade with other governments under the Paris Agreement. And this is why many of you will have contact with SEA through your work and representation of Sweden at different embassies. SIDA, on the other hand, does not have a formal mandate to engage in carbon trading. And the reason to engage for us is when it is relevant for delivering on our mandate for development cooperation and to achieve wider goals for sustainable development. And SIDA's view is that carbon markets provide one tool among many to increase finance for climate action and sustainable development. And how carbon markets are used should be considered within a broad spectrum of options for climate finance and used to complement other instruments. And SIDA has identified 3 areas where we think our support can do most good in connection to our mandate. The first one is at national level for countries to set up regulation, institutions, and systems, and also build capacity to prioritize activities for carbon trading in relation to national development priorities. And this connects to partner countries' NDCs, nationally determined contributions, that I believe we will talk about a bit more later. For example, SIDA has supported governments to set up systems for monitoring, reporting, and verification of emissions at national level. And this has been a necessary step to be able to engage in carbon markets. And secondly, SIDA can provide support at project level to help increase the number of projects that can benefit people living in poverty that meet high integrity principles. And thirdly, first before going to the third, project level also an example, SIDA can use innovative finance to provide upfront financing for projects to get off the ground. And thirdly, our role in connection to both of these areas, SIDA also has a role in finding synergies and facilitating connections through dialogue between market actors in line with our priorities. For example, between the Swedish Energy Agency and relevant contacts in countries we have presence. And a paper dealing and detailing the focus areas and SIDA's role will be shared and published in the next few weeks. And finally, for SIDA, carbon projects are not only about reducing emissions and producing as many carbon credits as possible. Carbon projects can create long-lasting changes and preconditions for poverty reduction if they include well-designed activities which provide wider benefits for people's livelihoods and building resilience. And this is not the view shared by all initiatives in carbon markets, and there are trade-offs and differences between sectors and project types. But our collaboration with the V Agroforestry aims to increase the knowledge of how to design projects in agriculture, forestry, and other land use sectors that can create benefit for marginalized people and the environment, while also producing carbon credits as an additional advantage. And today we will hear more about the work and gain know-how how this can be achieved in practice. We hope that this will also help us when we assess proposals and potential support within this area of work.